Hey, it's Skell11 with one last LEGO Mech Mock for The Wind Blows Hard in December. This is Lyla's Galdr from Xenoblade X, the Tyrant that you have to fight to upgrade one of the field skills. I think it was mechanical. So like with the Qumova last time, or Quimova, however you're supposed to say that, this one was built more for shape than details because it was built for the main purpose of having a way to use up a lot of extra bionicle parts that I had lying around. And then a lot of curved parts on top of that. So if I wanted to make it completely accurate, it would have been better to not use bionicle parts at all, because unlike the other Skells in the game, Galdrs are more just an integrated armor body than the others that are all a frame with armor on them. So it's not quite as accurate as it could be since the body is just not built the way it's supposed to be. Like, just conceptually, the body is built wrong, so it's not going to be as accurate as the others. Like you can see lots of gaps in the armor where it should just be one solid body. One thing that was nicely accurate about it, though, is that by turning this bionicle head 90 degrees, it perfectly creates the Galdr head. So that was nice. Didn't really have to do anything to get the head to look right. And a couple other inaccuracies that couldn't be helped, though, is the feet. The feet are supposed to be pointed because in-game Galdrs always just hover like this. But since I couldn't just have it hovering in the air, I needed to give it feet that would actually stabilize it and make it able to stand. So I had to give it completely different type of feet. And then the hovering weapons around it, the big shield cannon things, whatever they were supposed to be, those obviously can't hover either, so those had to be attached on separate arms that are all coming out of the backpack. So I put a bit of detail into the inside of the big floating weapons to look like they've got some cannons in there. At least on the bottom two. The top two, I didn't have room to fit that because of how I was attaching them. Also, you can probably, if you know your Bionicle history, you can probably guess what two Bionicles I used as the base of this. Like, it's mostly just completely thrown together, but I did take a lot of parts from two in particular. One minor issue with this is that the backpack is not completely stable. It's only held in by two Technic pins, so it slides out a bit when you're moving it around. I also gave it a flamethrower that it wouldn't normally carry. They don't normally have any weapons in their hands, but I just want to give it a flamethrower to use up some flame pieces because I never have anything to use these for. I have an entire bucket of flame pieces that I have no idea what to do with. So then here it is compared to a minifigure. And compared to the Formula Skell. So it's a little bit shorter than the Formula. I mentioned with the Kimova, but it was kind of hard to get super accurate comparisons since all the ganglion skells are always floating in the air, they're never grounded, so it's pretty hard to line up the player's Skell with them completely to get a totally accurate height comparison, but I'm pretty sure the Galdrs are supposed to be a bit shorter than the human Skells. Not by much, but just a little bit shorter, whereas the Kimovas, I think, are supposed to be about the same height. Though I didn't compare with Lyla's Galdr in particular, so since it's a Tyrant, it might be a little bit bigger, and this should have been bigger since it's supposed to be Lyla's Galdr and not just a regular Galdr. Since I don't think there are red generic Galdrs, that's why it's more specifically Lyla's Galdr. But yeah, I think that's around the right size, but it's just really hard to get a totally accurate measurement since they're always floating around and moving, not staying in one place, and it's very hard to adjust your height to be completely in line with them to get a screenshot of a perfect comparison. But I think it's about as close as it should be. If anyone has a better screenshot that shows that they're not this exact size, that they are supposed to be bigger, or if Lyla's Galdr in particular is notably bigger than this, then let me know. I could probably add some things to it to increase the height. But overall, I think this is about the right size, since some of their height is also coming from the weapons that surround them, and they're also really chunky, so overall they end up being a bit bigger than the human Skells, I think, when they're supposed to be. The build here is obviously not as big, but that's mostly because of what I mentioned earlier about not having the body built the exact right way it's supposed to be, where it's more of a integrated body instead of a plated body. Also, if you want to see the full video on the Formula Skell here, or the Amdusias Skell, or the other ganglion mechs, then you can check out the LEGO Xenoblade playlist that'll be up on screen at the end. Before that, I also just want to mention that this is the 8th, yeah, I think it's the 8th anniversary of when I first started Xenoblade X and first played Xenoblade in general. I didn't get X on release day. I was planning to get it for Christmas that year, so I didn't get it on release day. Didn't get it for Christmas, so then I went out and bought it the very next day. So the day this video is going up will be the 8th anniversary of when my life was changed forever by the glory of Xenoblade. Anyway, if you watch to the end, comment Blossom Dance down below. And again, if you want to see all the other mechs, or if you want to see any characters from the other Xenoblade games as figures, like this. This is just me, though, not any Xenoblade character. Then check out the LEGO Xenoblade playlist up on screen now, and see you next time. Oh yeah, there was also supposed to be one other LEGO Xenoblade X mech that I was going to have, which was the Cedar, I don't know how you pronounce it, but I realized before making all these videos that it had backwards legs, so I have to completely rebuild that. I'll have a video on that at some other point. Anyway, see you next time.